What's up, YouTube? My name is Gillistic Kid. I'm back with another review, and I'm back behind the camera again. This time we're going to be talking about the Xbox Series X. It's Microsoft's newest gaming console. We are now in the 9th generation, so let's get into it. Now this one was released on November 10th of 2020, 2 days before the PlayStation 5. I'm going to go over the main specs and the games and stuff like that. Now there's two different Xboxes. There's the Xbox Series X, the one you see right here. This is the more powerful version. And then there is the Xbox Series S, which is like they're all digital versions. So this one has like the optical disk drive and the other one doesn't. Now the Series S, it can only go up to like 1440 in resolution, and it is smaller too. So, you know, it's smaller, it's white. This one was $500, and the Series S is $300. So for $200 less, you get a really good bargain. It's a really good machine, and if you didn't get a chance to get one of these, the Series S, it'll do just fine. So there's two Xboxes, and then this one has the 8 cores AMD Zen 2 CPU. It has 12 teraflops. It has a custom RDNA 2 GPU. So it's basically the same specs as the PlayStation 5. On paper, technically this is more powerful than the PlayStation 5, but there have been games running on like 4K on the PlayStation 5 that were a little bit faster than this. In my opinion, it depends on the developers and how they use the power. So, you know, I wouldn't just go by what Microsoft has said on paper. And it has 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. It does have a custom SSD. The thing is, I want to talk about storage because I've been playing this for about 2 days now, and I've noticed, just like the PlayStation 5, once you load everything, you're not going to get 1 terabyte of storage. You're only going to get about 800 gigabytes of storage. But now Seagate, they have this storage expansion card. It's $220. So if you think you're just gonna buy this and you're not gonna have to spend any more money, yeah, with these consoles you're gonna definitely have to spend more money when it comes to storage. And this is what it looks like too. It's like a little memory card. It says 1 terabyte right there. Pretty nice. And it actually looks like the old memory cards. I got some, this was like the old PlayStation memory card from back in the day. And then this was a GameCube memory card, 16 megabytes. Look at that. And it held, it was good for 251 blocks of storage. That's what they called it back in 2002. They called it blocks of storage. The PlayStation one held even less. But, you know, we're literally going back in time when it comes to memory cards. So it is good that Microsoft gives you proprietary storage. Sony, you're probably going to have to wait a little bit. And here's a memory card that I use to record like gameplay. You can also use these for your cameras too. This is a 256 gig. So yeah, that does it for about you know, expandable storage. And it actually goes like right in the back of the console. I'm gonna show you that too. Now, you already know my views when it comes to Blu-ray. I have Blu-rays. I have the Ultra HD Blu-rays. They all look the same to me. I do not go out and buy movies very often, but when I do, for my collection, the regular Blu-ray, perfectly fine. I'm not going to spend an extra $10 for like the $30 movie. But this one does have the disc drive, so you can watch your movies. It also streams like the popular apps like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, stuff like that. And it also features the Bluetooth 5.1 and the Wi-Fi 6. And it's capable of 4K HDR at 120 frames per second. And then they have like the 8K high dynamic range. Here's the thing though about 8K. It's not quite there yet. I would not recommend you go out and buy like a $3,000 8K television because there's no 8K games just yet. Now, I would recommend you go out and buy a 4K television, but just be careful, not all 4K televisions have the 120 refresh rate, so you want to be careful when you buy that. But definitely get a 4K TV. You can grab one for about, the $300 or the $500 range. And then there's ray tracing. So ray tracing, it's going to offer, realistic shadows, realistic lighting, and reflections when it comes to water. And now I want to talk about the Xbox controller. So this is the new controller right here. That's what that looks like. And when you compare it to the old one, you really can't tell the difference. There are some slight changes though. The new one, it's a little bit smaller. Like I said before, you really can't tell the difference by looking at it. And they've added like a share button in the front. And on the triggers, there's like these little nubs. So it gives you like extra grip. There's like these little nubby things on the trigger. I don't know if you can see that. They didn't put them on the shoulder buttons though, which is kind of weird. I would have liked them to put those grips like right on the shoulder buttons, because sometimes when I'm playing, my fingers slip off of the shoulder button. And then they did something with the D-pad here too. Let me show you the white Xbox controller so you can see the difference. So that's the main difference. The D-pad, it's circular now. It's this one was just like this was a good D-pad, but the new one is even better for fighting games, especially when you want to do combos and stuff like that. And the top is pretty much the same too, but once again, thank you God, we have USB Type-C here on the top, so you can charge it. Now Xbox, they still use batteries. That's one of the things that kind of gets on my nerves. I was hoping that Microsoft would have like an integrated rechargeable battery, but no, they still use AA batteries. Or you can get like that rechargeable pack. I have one of those rechargeable packs that I use. There's the pair button at the top. Everything else is pretty much the same buttons. Improved D-pad at the bottom. They have a slot for your headphones. 3.5mm headphone jack. They still have the dedicated Xbox button up there. Other than that, I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So the Xbox has been one of my favorite controllers. So yeah, everything else is pretty much the same. When it comes to the controller, it does have haptic feedback in the triggers. It's got the share button. Now, the one thing I want to talk about is the software now. When I first booted this thing up, it did like a update, and my Xbox Series X did an update too. So as far as like Windows 10 goes, it's basically the same. If you have an Xbox One X, or if you get the new one, it's the experience is going to be the same. It's literally the same UI, but it's faster. It does have a couple of features that I want to go over. So there's smart delivery. Smart delivery is basically, if I buy a game, and then let's say I buy a game on Xbox One, and then that same game comes out on the new system, smart delivery will basically auto correct it. So if I buy an Xbox One game, and then if I try and play it on the Series X, the Series X will automatically know and optimize it for the new console. So smart delivery, that's a really good feature. Microsoft, they have something called like Xcloud Gaming. So Xcloud Gaming is very similar to Google Stadia, but we all know how Google Stadia turned out. It wasn't good at all. Google Stadia told everybody about all these features, and they didn't deliver on their promise. It might be a little bit different now. I do know some people that use Google Stadia, but Microsoft's Xcloud Gaming is what they call it, and that's their answer to streaming. And they also have like Xbox Live. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that. Xbox Live is what you need to play online. And then they have the Xbox Game Pass, which is absolutely amazing in my opinion. For $15 a month, you can play all the games that they have on there. And the Game Pass it's also backwards compatible. So if you do get this, just like the PlayStation 5, there's not a lot of launch titles. Halo Infinite was delayed until next year, so I was kind of hoping to play that, but they delayed it. But you know, if you do get this, you're gonna have the Xbox Game Pass. You're gonna have Xcloud Gaming. This is backwards compatible with like all of the Xbox 360 games and the original Xbox games. Not all Xbox 360 games are backwards compatible, just keep that in mind. And then they have something called Remote Play, so you can actually play from your smartphone or your tablet, and you can use your controller. You can use the Xbox controller with your cell phone, and you can use it with your PC also. So let's go over some of the games. So we have Halo Infinite, which was delayed, but I'd rather have it delayed than released now and have all those bugs that comes with early releases. We all know how Cyberpunk 2077 turned out. That was absolutely horrible, and they should have fixed it. They should have delayed that game and then brought it out a little bit later. I had high hopes for Cyberpunk, but that's a shame. And then there's a Scarlet Nexus. I'm gonna drop all these down into the description so you can take a look at the trailers. There's Fable, Second Extinction. That looks pretty good. It's about like dinosaurs. It's a first-person shooter. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that because the last game I played where you can shoot dinosaurs was Turok. There's Crossfire X, which looks pretty similar to Call of Duty, and then we have The Medium. There's a couple of other games that was announced that looks really good. So yeah, high hopes for the future of Xbox Series X. And speaking of Call of Duty, you might want to be careful because certain games, there's a sticker right here. So it says Series X, and then they have like cross-generation games. So you might want to be careful. On the bottom here, it says for Xbox Series X and Xbox One. I hate when they do that because it's really confusing, and this looks just like one of the older Call of Duties that came out. But here's the thing: if you buy a game, if you buy Call of Duty on Xbox One and you want to play it on the new system, you should not have to pay more money. You should just be able to buy the game and upload it to the new system and get the updated graphics and whatnot. But I don't know if this is just Activision doing this, but you want to be careful when you buy the games. Look for that sticker right there if you want the new ones. And someone asked me like how high this thing was. So I got my GameCube here. So if you put the GameCube next to the Xbox Series X, so if you have two stacked on top of each other, that basically gives you an idea of how high it is. And I just realized that the GameCube has a handle on it. It's been a while since I've actually looked at the GameCube, but yeah, it has a handle on it. I've never actually seen someone carry their GameCube around. But yeah, the controller is pretty much the same. I'm gonna show you. Let me turn this around real quick. So yeah, this is what the back looks like. So you get. So there's two USB ports. And then you have you got your Ethernet port. There's the HDMI, and this is where you put the storage card at. So it literally, you got to take the cover off, but it basically goes like right there. That's where you put the memory card. It's got vents on the back, and then let me turn it back around. So on the front, you know, it's got holes on the front. So that's where all the heat comes out at. You can actually sit it down just like this. So it can sit on its side. It doesn't need a stand or anything like the PlayStation 5. And you've got your disk drive right here. There's the power button and the eject button. Everything is pretty much designed very well. It's like a little mini IT tower, one of those little computer towers. I like the design, and it's going to be easier to put on your entertainment system. But let me know what you think about the Xbox Series X. I'm going to have some more videos coming up pretty soon. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.